We'll call the meeting to order. Our chairman is going to be a little bit late, so we'll go ahead and start the meeting and get it going. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Okay. Commissioner Rivers?
Present.
Commissioner Way?
Here.
Commissioner Brown?
Here. Commissioner
Commissioner Flowers will be absent. And Barry will be late.
Okay, you all have the agenda in front of you. We need a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as written.
For a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's approved. At the beginning of public comment, which is the next thing on the agenda, I'd like to take a point of personal privilege and introduce to you Harry France. Harry, I would stand up for it. Harry was on the port board back in the 80s, I believe it was.
82, I was the first.
Well, we're happy to welcome you back as a former member of the group.
Thank you.
It's changed a little bit.
Okay.
But Harry, you care to say a few words?
Pardon?
Would you care to say a few words? Step up to the microphone.
All right. Yes, I joined the group here in 1982. Some things that happened during my 8 years president of the board. On my last year in 1990, I was chairman of this board. We had some things happen. Somebody took a high-powered rifle and shot the lighthouse out. It hit some lenses in the lighthouse. Coast Guard came along and they put a light on the ocean side of the lighthouse. It went from north to south and south to north. It didn't go around the city again. So in the process, we did find somebody that would come and repair the lenses in the lighthouse, which we did, and of course now it goes all the way around. One other thing that happened, and I was chairman of the board in 1990, the ladies from the Junior Service League came to us and asked permission to take over the caretaking of the lighthouse keeper's house, the lighthouse, and the gift shop. And we had a discussion about that and finally voted that they do that. And since then, 30 years later, they've done an excellent job over there taking care of that property, which at one time, somebody had come into the lighthouse keeper's house during a cold spell and lit a fire and burned it a little bit. But they have repaired it, and they're doing an excellent job. I think it's one of the main attractions for tourists here in St. Augustine, along with the alligator farm and the Nights for Lights and the lighthouse. And I was proud to serve on this board. Like I said, I served 8 years, and I was very proud to have done that. The 2 years previous to that, I'd served on the city commission.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Tom. My pleasure being here.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
I used to go to his daycare. I tell you how old I am.
Pardon? Oh, Chris, yeah.
That was, well, I'm 63, so, I don't know, 55 years ago, maybe.
Yes, sir.
I was there.
I know you were.
Oh.
Yeah.
You were the nice one.
You had a little bit of hair back then, too.
I did. You were the nice one. Mrs. France, she carried the stick.
Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless.
Yeah,
Thank you, Tom.
my kids went there too, to your play
you.
school. Also, some of y'all may know that Harry and his wife Marie play Santa Claus at Christmas time, and they usually do a night at Chick-fil-A.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks for coming, Harry.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Public comment. Does anyone from the public want to speak? Okay, government representatives. Who wants to go first?
Commissioner Jim Piggott from the City of St. Augustine. Really quick, I have two items for you. The first item is a day or two after our last meeting in January, we pulled two derelict boats that were in the Port District's boundaries, and the estimated cost that we have is not to exceed $9,000. So I'm asking for the $9,000, up to $9,000, and we'll give you the invoice after it's all done, pulled, broken up, and taken away.
All right, you need a motion? We need a motion.
Oh, just a quick question. That money would come out of the derelict boats fund, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make a motion to transfer the funds.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So the motion passes.
Thank you, and then just to let you know too, that the find application for, I believe it's phase 11 or 12 of saw run dredging was turned in last week. We were the first application turned in for this year, so, and it had to be in before March 31st, so we're well ahead of the game in that. Do you have any
Jim,
questions?
Anybody noticed, looks like it's not it's not a derelict boat in the water, but it's at the Volano landing. So it looks like somebody just dumped a boat.
Yeah, I'll let law enforcement talk about that one.
Okay,
It doesn't come to my level until it's deemed derelict. so-
okay. Yes, right, the borderline of the city limits.
Right, but as you know, we go outside the city limits in the Port District.
Right.
Obviously.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Josh Underwood, the Sheriff's Office of Marine Unit. Stats from last port meeting to this port meeting is 16 boating safety inspections, 2 citations for safety violations, 9 warnings. Random MSD inspections were 18 with no violations. And then a couple things I had was Commissioner Flowers had asked about the inlet buoys being off station. I talked to the Coast Guard station. The Aton station for us is Jack's Beach. Their boat has been out of commission, and they're not looking to get those replaced probably till August. So they are posting those in the weekly bulletin though for the notice to mariners, but just keep that in mind. I think we're up to 6 now that are off station.
That's exclusively their jurisdiction too, like there's nothing we could do about that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have all the Atons up there in the yard that they refurbished, but they're actually the ones that set it.
Right.
And then the other suggestion I had was maybe the Port Commission look at the end of the Volano jetties in the ICW out of the boat ramp, maybe putting a white light out there for fog conditions, low light visibility, because those jetties at high tide are not visible whatsoever.
Have there been any incidents?
There has not as of yet.
There's going to be.
I would say eventually.
Talking about the jetties going into the Volano ramp.
Correct. So at high tide, they're completely covered on the end. I would say the last,
Yeah, I'm surprised
12
somebody
feet of
hadn't
them?
did it either.
and there's nothing to mark them.
So what did you put at the end?
Nothing. I was suggesting maybe the Port Commission look at putting like a white light or something.
Okay, what about
to
a cost?
signify.
Maybe we could look into a cost.
Yeah, Mike, is that something that you could look into?
We can
for us?
look into that and report back next month.
That'd be great.
Okay,
Yeah, because I would be in favor of doing that as soon as possible.
yeah, absolutely.
That's all I have from my side. Did you have questions about the MSD?
I did, yeah. So I looked into it. We talked about it a couple meetings now. I mean, we can get 1,000 of them for $150. The thing that I mean, so there's two things. One, I want to try to clarify if there are any particular features or design elements or anything that y'all need. But also, I think there's been some question about what the enforcement regime is actually going to look like. You're obviously not just going to be handing them out at boat ramps or you know, at the marina or anything, because people could then use them to flout it. So
Correct.
you guys are just going to install them.
Correct. We would actually have to put them on the boat. So the Florida statute requires that it be secured by a lock, zip tie, some nature that it's secure.
Right.
And then we would come back eventually. How we do us now is we check the boat to make sure it's secure. We drop a dye tablet in their MSD device and see if it pumps overboard. If it pumps overboard, they're in violation, they get a citation. Or if they fail to have it locked or closed, it's an automatic citation. So when we do a random inspection, we would see that it's locked, and we would, if you're doing the zip tie like we talked about, we would actually secure it. And then if we check that boat again, we would ensure that that zip tie is still in place.
What if they say though, well, we took a cruise 3 miles off and cut it, and that's, then dumped it overboard and then came back, and that's why it's not there anymore? I mean,
Right, there's no way to confirm it.
right. So it's imperfect, but it would still be better than the status quo, you think?
Correct.
Okay.
Because right now, a lot of them, just leave it closed and put like a bread tie.
Right.
'Cause all it states is it's really gray,
Right.
basically, as long as it's secured.
And so if we had something that was printed with SAPWB, maybe an 11-inch zip tie or 14-inch zip tie, is there a particular color that would be most useful for y'all for visibility purposes, or?
I would just say something bright.
Okay, bright color.
How often do you randomly check boats? I mean, did that to be, are they anchored? Are they only at the
You
buoys?
can check MSD inspections as much as you want.
No, but how often would you say you guys do it?
I would say it just depends on what we're doing. Normally during a normal boating stop, hey, drop this tab in your MSD, we're gonna see if it pumps overboard. I would say we do them a mooring field, and we do boats or docked in marinas the most.
Well, when they tie to the mooring field, doesn't the city boat go out there and,
Only if they ask for it.
really? I thought once they rented it, they
They have to call and schedule a time to get a pump out.
but they get a pump out when they tie
They
up.
can, and it's included, am I right?
Yeah, but we can't go onto the boat.
Right.
Yeah, but if they tie up, they get a pump out just for the, okay.
We stopped, there was a boat that came from up north, it was one of the big sailing boats with all the kids on it learning how to sail. We did a boarding, we had Coast Guard with us, we did a boarding on the boat. We went through the whole safety inspection, they checked the MSD and the valve was open, they were on a mooring. The guy's like, oh, I just forgot. So, it's definitely random, but there are ways around it.
Well, so you think this would help?
I definitely think it would help.
Well, I'd like to move that we proceed with this, and I honestly don't know what how this will work technically. I mean, I've talked to a couple of vendors. I think I've got some quotes. I don't know that I would need to come back and actually get approval for a specific quote. Can we just move to spend up to, let's say, $150 or $200 on this, and then Elise, I'll get in touch with you to coordinate that?
Yeah.
Is that how that would work?
I'll make a motion for that, or you make a motion for that.
Yeah, I move that we, let's say, approve $200 for the purchase of zip ties for MSC inspections for local law enforcement.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, done. You can spend up to $400.
Okay, so maybe I'll just do that discretionarily then, without even, all right, I'll check back on that then.
All right, that's all I have unless you guys have another.
What about the boat I was talking
Oh,
about?
correct. So the boat you were talking about was last month. That boat was found tied to the Volano boat ramp, the floating dock, sunk. So
Okay,
it's
but
a derelict boat. We actually hooked a line or rope to it and we drug it into the parking lot.
Oh, you just dumped it in the parking lot temporarily?
Correct, because if we left it where it was sunk, then it would have tied up the whole east side of the boat ramp and nobody would have been able to use
just
it.
taking it off their trailer.
No, so by state law, we have to leave that boat there until the investigation finishes within the 90-day period, then we can destroy it.
Did they scuttle it right there?
Well, the boat was sold to a junkyard through the investigation we did, and so that's how it ended up there. The investigation's still going, but we're trying to determine who actually dumped it there. From the witnesses that we talked to, it was back down the ramp, tied off to a cleat, and they left. And it sank over a day period.
Why don't you just leave it in the parking lot?
Would have been easier. Anything else for me? All right, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teddy Meyer, Parks and Recreation. Just had a couple things. First of all, Butler West is open, so hooray for that. Doug Crane, just an update for you guys. The plans have been submitted to St. John's Water Management and the county and the Army Corps of Engineers. They're being reviewed. Process should take about 60 days, and construction services anticipates permits by about May 1st. So, and then it'll go out to bid. So just an update on Doug Crane. And then Volano, it's in the port. Gulfstream is finalizing the parking lot plans, and the permits will be available in the next 2 weeks. And then we'll be ready to go for that one. So, and that one is planned on, it should be broken up. If it gets into the boating season for construction, it'll be sectioned off similar to like a Michler's, where this section will be under construction and this section will be under construction. So part of the ramp is still going to be open, but since it's more paving than anything else, it shouldn't take very long. We shouldn't have any major upsets. So
The houses that did not okay sand being put in front of their property, isn't that going to create some,
for Volano,
yeah, Volano.
okay. I mean, I couldn't speak to that myself. You'd have
Okay.
to speak to someone in construction services, so that's more construction services, probably Public Works is doing that
Okay.
stuff. Yeah, less Parks and Rec, so. That's it.
Thank you.
I'm Joshua Lawrence with Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. I don't have exact stats, but I know off the top of my head we've had over 50 boating stops, multiple boating violations, multiple warnings, along with fisheries warnings, and some oystering harvesting illegally in the past month or so. And then a couple weeks ago, we've been working on getting a new boat down here for probably about two years or so. And it's been taking a lot longer than we anticipated. About 2 weeks ago, they finally said, hey, we're gonna give you guys a 29-foot Donzi that's refurbished from FWC, but we don't really have anywhere to put it. So I was gonna come up here and ask for some financial assistance to put a new, well, not new, but put a boat lift at the public safety dock in between the county's vessels. So I was hoping to be prepared for you today with an estimate already done by a construction company, but they postponed the estimate. So they were supposed to do it last week, but they told me that they would do it yesterday and then get it to me sometime in the next couple of days. So sorry, I'm ill prepared with the actual estimate, but I'm not expecting it to be too incredibly expensive because the piling's already there, the dock's already there, the electrical is already run out there for the most part. It would essentially just be the lift and the motors is what we'd be asking for in the future. I just wanted to put that out there.
Where would it go? At the city up here?
The public safety dock next to the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office and the county fire rescue boat,
Okay.
the one that's in the middle. And we talked to them already and kind of coordinated, and we're trying to get this in motion since this boat was just kind of handed to us without anywhere to put it. So it should be in the water within the next week to a month, is getting some final touches put on it. But now that we have it, what we're getting, we kind of have a better idea of what we need to do.
Okay.
Yeah, just come on back when you have all the information. Money. Where's that public safety dock? By where?
Volano boat ramp?
Oh, okay.
It's that new one they just built.
Okay.
Been
Yeah.
a year or so ago.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions for me?
You could get the estimate to us before the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, like you could send it to Elise, and then she'll give it to us.
Can I get your contact information?
Of course.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the government?
All right, end of the meeting.
End of the meeting. I don't know where my card is.
Carl Blow with the Florida Inland Navigation District. I don't really have anything. I haven't been able to come by and see you guys in a couple months, so I thought I'd stop by and say hello and see if you had anything any issues with the Florida Inland Navigation District. I'd be happy to address those. If not, I just came by to say hello. I just want to confirm that the city of St. Augustine did get their fine grant application in way ahead of schedule. And I think I've got a meeting coming up with the county on some projects pretty soon. And those are really exciting projects. I think as far as in your district, Volano parking is one of those probably, and then the others are, is there a Butler project in there? I'm not sure, but certainly we have some projects up in Palm Valley, which is not in your district, but is desperately needed up there. So other than that, just came by to say hello, and if you guys have anything for me, I'd be happy to.
Hey, Carl, how's it going?
Howdy.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Secretary Treasurer's report?
All right. As for the city police law enforcement overtime, of the 8,000 committed, we've spent 500. Of the St. Johns County Sheriff's Department overtime, of the 20,000, we've spent 4,292. Nothing on the maps. Derelict boats, we've spent 8,300 of the 25,000. I did just get the invoice for the Regatta of Lights for $6,277.42, and we budgeted $7,000. In the Florida State Board of Administration Fund A, we have $23,006. In the operating account, we have $444,969, and in the money market account, we have $2,107,000. For our taxes budgeted for the year, we budgeted $570,634, and we received $479,672. We still expect about $90,009 to come in.
Any questions regarding the budget? Nope. Okay. All right, approval of the minutes, January 21st, 2020. Questions or additions or anything? Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve them.
I'll second.
take your choice. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Right. Engineering report.
I have nothing to report.
All right. Okay. Here we are with new business, electing a secretary, treasurer, and custodian of the records. This was Commissioner Flowers, but she's not here. So I would like to make a motion that we elect Elise. I think she's done a good job.
Elise Kemper.
Elise Kemper.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. You're elected. Okay.
Good.
All right. You still don't get a free parking place, though? No.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, and final presentation regarding the May Street boat ramp. Commissioner Flowers, and she's not here, so we can't really speak to that at this point, so we'll just table that. Okay. Now we're at old business. Update on Summer Haven insurance claim. Commissioner Flowers, do you know anything about it, Jim?
Yeah, I have talked to some attorneys, local attorneys, and nobody has said yet that they would like to do this. So I got some names of some people in Jacksonville.
Okay.
I'm going to be calling them.
Okay. So you'll have some information by the next meeting, you think?
Yeah, and
Okay.
the other thing I was doing is the archive issue with the records. I've talked to 3 people from the Historical Society, and we finally got one of them to commit to doing the work for us. His name is Chad Germany. He's the head librarian at the St. Augustine Historical Society.
Okay.
But he couldn't come to the meeting today because he had a conflict, but he's going to come next month.
Yeah, that's good.
Bring a proposal. I think he told me that it looked like a couple of weeks' work, and not a great big deal.
Excellent.
There are records there, and there are a lot of old records there, but there's not really that much.
Okay.
Elise, didn't we say you sent us an email today from that Sandy wasn't going to be at the meeting, but she mentioned some attorney?
I have no idea what that was about.
Yeah,
Something
okay.
named Jane West for, I don't know. I don't know what it was about.
Yeah, well, we'll just,
Okay. All right. Decision regarding engineering services, all commissioners. So, I know we've all read the information that was sent to us. Does anybody have any discussion or any recommendations?
Well, Barry, how long have you been on the commission?
19 years.
Tom?
About 15 years.
I've only been on a couple, or possibly, no, almost 3. And in any of that time, did you guys have any issues with the engineering firm we're using now?
Never. Any questions?
No, I was just going to say, I spoke to city and county engineers about all 3 firms that submitted bids. The general consensus I got was that we couldn't go wrong with any of them, but Taylor in particular, as was mentioned in the presentations, because of their expertise at water flow modeling and hydrology, would probably be the smartest one to stick with. And that's not taking into account the fact that they've already been our engineer for decades, and so understand these issues better than anybody else coming in fresh could. So I think that points to a pretty clear consensus pick for me.
Yeah, I like that we had one guy we could get a hold of. I mean, I can call him anytime, whether I was a chairman or just a regular commissioner. I have no problem getting a hold of him, and asking questions. He's responsive. The other guys, it was like we're just going to be a client in a firm. We didn't have really a specific guy assigned to us that's going to come to every single meeting. It was like, to me, I thought it was like almost as an as-needed basis. I'd like to make a motion that we stick with Taylor Engineering.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. You're in.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
What, just out of pure curiosity's sake, this is going to be a 2-year contract? What is the renewal term for this contract going forward? Jim, is that something you know off the top of your head, or we're going to need to draft that up?
I would suggest, they've been using the same contract for nearly 30 years with lots of amendments. So could you create a new contract
Sure, we can do
and just
that.
start with a clean slate?
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it should be about 2 years. We'll look at it every couple of years.
Typically, we go 3 years, then the client has the option to renew it annually. So I
3
can
years
look
is
at
fine,
our
too.
current contract.
That's fine.
Okay. Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Public comment. Anybody from the public? Come on.
That was just not enough time for you to call.
No.
Well, just to reinforce your decision, Taylor Engineering has been the engineer of record for the Florida Inland Navigation District since, I don't know, 1980, maybe sooner. And basically, what we do is on an annual basis, we review their billing rates. I don't know how you guys do it, but and when they do a presentation, they have billing information from DOT as well as from some of the other agencies to compare how engineering services are billed for DOT. And anyway, it's a nice comparison. It is a public record. If you're interested, I think it's our last meeting or the meeting before we reviewed Taylor's billing rates, and they are always competitive with the industry. And but the thing is, they have this somewhat unique benefit that they really, as you guys know, understand the coastal engineering issues and dredging, which a lot of engineering firms don't necessarily have that expertise in-house. So anyway, I think you just made a great decision, and just to reinforce that we've had those guys a long time, and we check it every year. They do a presentation. Dr. Taylor usually comes down, they're competitive. So anyway, that's all. I just wanted to pass that on. Thanks.
Thank you, Carl. We appreciate that.
I did just happen to have one complaint about Taylor. When I first joined the board, they had the most fantastic Christmas parties. Food flowed, drinks, it was wonderful in Jacksonville, and then something happened. You could take that back to your boss.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you could report back on that by next month, that would be great.
Nobody else from the public? Well, we're moving right along. Okay. Comments by commissioners. Commissioner Way?
No, I have nothing.
Commissioner Rivers? Barry? No. Mr. Brown?
Nothing.
Next meeting date?
It's going to be March, now, that's changed, it's not going to be the 3rd, it's going to be March 24th.
Still Tuesday?
It's a Tuesday, it's instead of the 17th because they're doing voting.
Okay.
So
Right,
we're
it's Super
gonna do
Tuesday.
the following week, which is the 24th, so we'll
Okay.
still keep it on a Tuesday.
What's the date?
24th, March 24th?
Just so happens there's 5 Tuesdays in March,
Oh,
so
okay.
it worked out good.
Good, everybody set your calendars.
March 24th.
Well, nothing else? We're adjourned.
Sure.
Take that quickest.
Thanks for coming, Harry.
Wow, 3:30, look at that.
When Dr. Taylor used to be here, and I would,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
what's
because
his
I've been
name?
doing this for like 19 years, so
Oh, yeah.
sometimes if he's sitting here and I would talk to
Okay.
him and
I met him
I would
years
say
ago.
Dr.
He used to have a
Taylor and
school,
he'd get
France
so
school, something like that, children's school.
mad. Because I called
30
him
years ago,
Dr.
40
Taylor, he said, don't call me Dr. Taylor. He's such a nice guy.
They ran off Madeira Drive at their house.
Huh?
Because he didn't work for him.
Then they moved by.
That's true.
By the.
Cabin on
That's
that
true. A lot of
by
people
the,
say that about my
nursery.
boss too. Yeah.
I went, it was at their
Yeah, I
house on
liked
Madeira
it.
Drive. And Marie Francis still lives there.
Hi.
Man, she was a fast man. What should I do?
Well, you know, I guess you had.
Yeah.
I'll send you over.
Email it to me and I
I'll
get
see you
the
guys.
check. Barry, I need check signed.
So I should pay for it personally and then.
No, no,
I think it was
no.
painted yellow or something like that. It was crazy.
what I wanted to-
Colors. Years ago, I mean,
Given
you know,
your
when I first
court
moved to the
card,
St.
you should be
Augustine in
able to invoice it.
1980,
and
81, something like that.
Two of my children.
I'll have to check and get either Custodian to sign or if I can.
So, I hear somebody's running against
And
me.
then I'll either send it out or give it to you.
But it's awful early, you know?
I doubt it's
Somebody named you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll be in touch with you.
That kind of insurance.
Okay, sounds good.
Might have been able
Okay.
to squeeze a little
Okay.
money out of it.
I know that the Republicans are supposed to.
Good, 'cause I don't have any of my notes, 'cause I keep forgetting.
I tried to call you back, by the way, when you left the message.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get the message.
I got it because
Elise?
one of your staff members came
Well, I'm sure.
Well, you ever, if I'm not there,
And-
You can probably put them in this group, this group,
my assistant
this, and
got it in
that.
your drawer.
Same elevator?
Elise?
Yeah, same elevator.
That's
Get off the elevator, before it's single left.
Who's your assistant?
That's it. At that email, since email.
She's got the message.
I just called Rita. I said,
Yeah,
call his
the
office.
first time when emails were just coming out, it was like,